Exactly, bro. Exactly. You have to
Mm,
adapt to the change and you have to maneuver. Yeah, you can't be stuck in your own ways, and especially with content creation stuff or anything
mm,
art related, you have to roll with the punches. If you're gonna
mm.
just sit over there and not move with it, there's no growth in that.
There's no growth in that. That's for sure. I like the way you've put it. There's no growth in that. Mm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Bro,
MX, bro.
yeah, we got so much to talk about,
You
bro.
know, you, you know what I'm so honored about that I can have one-to-one time with you like this. This is a nice way to connect with people on an intimate level. We've always see each other in kind of passing, not exactly in person because you're in South Africa and I'm all the way in the UK. And yeah, I feel so honored.
Exactly.
You know, MX, the famous man in Durban, doing his thing.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yes.
Bro, speaking of, bro, I'm so grateful for the platform that we met on and just
Twitch.
that community because like I was able to tap in with you because I'm not sure if I was either playing Kwaito music or something and we started having long conversations in the chat and I'm like, whoa.
Mm,
So I'm so appreciative of internet and these other platforms and how they bring us close together, bro.
mm. Yeah, on Twitch, many years ago. Time moves fast. Yeah, and
It was about 2 years ago, I believe.
every time I come on Twitch, the improvement on your game because like you freestyle just off the top of the dome, and like I'm definitely seeing the improvement. It just goes to show that if you stick at what you do and keep chipping away every day, you will make progress. And you know what the best thing is that you weren't really bothered when you weren't that good. You were still putting yourself out there. And it just came, and like, oh man, your music touches somewhere deep inside my soul, bro. There's that new song of yours, Zamalobolo.
Hey, Zamalobolo.
Zamalobolo.
Yes.
Zamalobolo. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I've said
man.
it right. It's been a while since I've been speaking my mother tongue, and I know you speak Zulu, but my language is Ndebele, which is slight. Just little
We all
differences
part
in
of the
words.
we all part of the Bantu people. We're part of the
Bantu.
Nguni.
Mm,
Yes, exactly. And it's so beautiful how our languages are so related to each other, in the sense that they have so much similarity. So it was so nice and lovely to connect with you. And actually, in a few years, I'm working on my Swahili as well
oh.
because it's just such a nice universal language throughout Africa as well. But yeah. Pedi is not that far. I mean, the is not that far. We
Mm,
all won. And I said I just saw a piece from, I'm not sure if you saw Esther Mashangu. She just did some stuff for BMW, which is amazing. You should check it out. Esther
mm.
Mashangu. Yes, she's like a living
Esther
icon. She does the
Masango.
beautiful. Yeah, well, she does beautiful, like BMW 7 Series, the interiors and the outs, but with the
Oh,
traditional spin to it. It's worth a check out.
so what's your connection to her?
Oh no! I only brought that up because you mentioned Debele, and yeah,
Okay, okay.
we just flowed into that.
Nice. Now, how's your podcast going? The Catch
Bro,
Up
the
Durban.
podcast. Yeah, the podcast is actually going great, but I'll be completely transparent and honest. We haven't shot since December, and
Mm,
kind of on a hiatus. I'm on a little break with it, um, because yo, bro, and this is just gonna bleed into everything we want to speak about, like time management and how much you invest in projects is so crucial when you have a lot going on. So it's like
mm,
a platform that I was just doing purely out of love for my city and the creatives that we have here, trying to
mm,
create a platform to capture their stories and maybe bring people that I have within my network that are doing really well in the industry to give game out to the people coming up, to spread information and to almost like give them gems. But what I also realized is it was consuming a lot of time because as much as I do music, I also have a normal job. I work a 9 to 5. So the music stuff is my life and I am passionate about it, but then balancing it out with the actual job became quite hard to manage.
to manage
And
it
with
all.
that, I made a conscious decision of like, okay, I'm gonna attack this a lot more strong. At least we've built a foundation. and we built a name for this great platform. And when the time is right, I'm going to come back guns blazing for a new season.
Everything happens in the right timing, in God's
Absolutely.
timing, the divine timing, So what is it you
Absolutely,
do for
brother.
9 to 5 work? I
Hey,
never
man.
knew this. Hey,
Yeah, man. You're gonna get anything you want to ask. I'll tell you. So I work as a videographer for a fashion retailer.
oh,
But then, as much as I do that, I have a background or qualification, rather, with in visual communication for graphic design. So I spent
wow,
some years in advertising and marketing. Like some will say, I'm award winning, working with
wow.
local brands and international brands. But my job currently is I shoot, I travel, I edit, and create content for this fashion retailer, which is a big blessing for me.
That is amazing because I was gonna ask you about the video content producer, one of the titles on your Instagram. I didn't even
Mm.
realize you got lots of followers and you do marketing and stuff, and that's an area where I'm so lacking. Like I don't have that experience in putting myself out there like that. I've heard it's just the way you package it, how you package it to try and capture an audience to get interest, and yeah, it's still something that I'm working on my side. But yeah, that's
No, man,
amazing.
but it goes back to your point of saying that everything has its process, everything
Mm.
has its time, and you kind of have to get your feet wet. So that's a good starting point of like, okay, maybe I've got this going, or I understand this. So you start connecting with other people, you start getting more information, but you just become a student of the game, so to speak, and that's how you
Mm.
kind of get more and more experience and knowledge,
Experience.
which is how I've been growing through my music, through working with and collaborating with other creators, sound engineers, etc. You just pick up bits and pieces from everyone, and you kind of cultivate your own image from all that.
Experience is the best teacher. Eh? You just got to throw yourself in there.
Exactly. I believe that's what you're doing with the pod. And I just wanted to tell you
Yes.
that I absolutely love how it feels, bro. Like it feels so welcoming, it feels so warm, and it feels like a good space for people to actually just like allow themselves to be. So I'm really, really thankful to be over here.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I did throw myself in and I've definitely learned a lot on the way, especially about myself and the art of communication and listening. It's a fine art to be able to listen and communicate. And it's such a learning curve. It's such a learning curve. And this podcast, obviously, the reason why I started it is just to create a platform to share people's success stories, because I see a lot of people, they struggle, they don't have information. Sometimes successful people, they get to the top and they hide the ladder of how they got to the top and they leave other people behind because they want to stay up there and get greedy. So,
Absolutely.
I'm all
Well,
about
brother,
sharing.
exactly. And you know that I don't know, man. I've always had this like affinity for our back and forth on the chats, because we would chat over there, and anything I can assist in, any information I can share. But also I'm humble enough to want to learn more, and like I get excited because I always see myself as a student, or always
Mm,
willing to learn. But yeah, man, absolutely. And I've never really been the type of character that because I relate and I resonate with what you're saying with, sometimes people will reach a certain upper echelon, and then it's like, oh, now you're too good, or now you don't even want to come back and share the information. I don't like subscribe to that. I
yeah,
believe that we can be in abundance. There's more than enough for everyone. There's
exactly.
enough pockets for everyone to succeed and give back.
Yeah, it's just there's a saying they say, "Oh, I want a piece of the pie." You know, the pie is not limited though. It's abundant. So this thing of like, oh, I want a piece of your pie. Let me have a piece of this. No, no, we share, we create together. I want to go straight deep into this with a deep question here, like the meaning of life, because obviously my podcast, this is the search for meaning. I've been inspired by myself. I've inspired myself to seek knowledge and understanding of myself and the world around us, the world we live in, psychology. What gives you meaning in your life, in what you do? How is this soul nourishing?
Oh wow.
Mm,
That's a very big question. We all think that other people know what they're doing, but I think the scary thought is that no one actually knows what the true meaning is, in the sense that you kind of realize after a while that the meaning of life is on the individual. So it's like, like
yes.
sometimes we go on this autopilot through life, and then you're like, bro, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Am I normal? You have these existential questions that you pose on yourself, where you're like, am I enough? Is this an ideal of success? What does it all mean? I say all that to say that the true meaning, I believe, is up to the individual. So
Hmm,
whether
of
you
course.
are big on your faith, your culture, your religion, or even self, you
Hmm.
ultimately, as the individual, give meaning to what you think life is.
Yeah, of course. And this is why I've created this platform, because everybody's got their own meaning. They find their own meaning in their own way. And ultimately, after a long time of doing these podcasts, I'll be able to see a common pattern in how
Absolutely.
everybody gets meaning in life. And, I sent you a message the other day after listening to your new song. And, what I'm receiving from your giving, you're creating, and we are receiving. And man, your music makes me feel good. And the best thing I like about your music, MX, is you're not the type of rapper that glorifies guns and violence. You're trying to better yourself as a person. Some of the lyrics, it's like poetry.
Absolutely.
You're playing around with words. It's like wordplay in its finest. And yeah, so for me, that's yourself. You giving a selfless service to humanity. Like I said on the voice note to you, like
Thank
you
you.
make you
Thank you.
make people feel happy. And that song, that your new song Zamalobolo. Oh
Yes.
man, I'm still connected to my roots, man. Like choir, African choir. You got the legacy from South Africa. We got
Shout out Legacy.
the legacy. What's the other one? It's I've lost the
I
name.
can I can give you a few. You've got like your Lady Smith Black Mambazo.
That's the one, Lady Smith, Black Mambas. I was actually listening to it yesterday. I feel a bit
Oh wow.
yeah. I
Yeah.
listen to I listen to that music all the time. There's so much music, and also we've got Guijo Squad, Guijo Avenue.
Mm,
Yeah, those guys, the way they harmonize, and music is life for me. Like
absolutely,
music,
bro.
music is life. This helps connect people together, sharing the love, the vibrations, and
Mm.
yeah,
No
you're
man,
doing
I
amazing, man.
I absolutely, and I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that it's being received that way, because when you are in an environment, we sometimes we think that the environment dictates who we're going to become. So,
Hmm.
as you saying, like you had this warm feeling when we're making these songs and we're creating these beats or writing these lyrics and coming up with these melodies, we're tapping into these capsules of like what felt good. Like you're thinking of you growing up at your grandma's house or your first crush, whatever it is, you're tapping into this nostalgia. And you start to realize that there's more good than there's evil in the world. So you kind of
Yes.
have to ask yourself, like, not that you consciously choose a decision of I'm good and that's evil, no, because we don't pass judgment onto other people and situations. But you're just like, okay, well, this is what I want to stand for, and this is what I want people to feel when they hear my stuff, which is why this is like the greatest compliment that an artist could get. Just knowing that you tapped into that frequency and you can feel it, because we really try. Like we really, really try. Like we all face doubts, our fears. We all have insecurities. So when the message reaches the intended people out there in the universe, it's just such a fulfilling feeling, and I'm so grateful for it, man.
Oh, you're so welcome, man. They say inspired to be inspired. It's an exchange. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're giving us,
Exactly.
and we're also giving back to you, inspiring you to do more and elevate yourself and be like, yes, let's go back and do it again. And that's how we inspire and encourage each other. We should be here for each other, and that's a nice positive exchange. Inspired to be
Exactly.
inspired.
And speaking of, before we move on, because we are inspiring each other, we need to link up. I'm gonna need that harmonica, bro. We're gonna have to do like a jam session online or something. We're
Of
gonna have to
course,
create, my brother.
of course. I've been learning the guitar recently.
Yeah, I see it in the background. How's that
Yes.
going?
So yeah, I'm self-taught. I can play 4 different chords. I can sing
Mm.
some songs and play the guitar now.
Hey, bro,
Hey,
you need to join Twitch and start streaming, bro. I promise you.
hey, when you're talking about managing your time and stuff, like I've got so much going on. It's unreal. Like so much going on. And
What
I'm
that
so
inspired you? Oh, sorry. I
eh?
just wanted to find out what inspired you to play the harmonica.
Oh, the harmonica. So, for some reason, I always wanted to learn an instrument. And I heard the harmonica and I thought, a harmonica, I can actually keep it in my pocket because I knew that it's not every time when I get home is when I'm going to be inspired to learn. So, if I have it in my pocket all the time, when I have that inspiration, I can just pull it
Yes.
out there and then just play it. So, that's
E-
how it started. And it took me
e-
about 2-3 years to actually learn how to play it properly. But consistently for 2-3 years, even though I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, I was still putting in the work. And then
mm.
one day after 3 years, it just suddenly clicked, and all of a sudden, it's like an overnight thing. All of a sudden, I can play the harmonica. Then it's history. It's been history since then. So it's been over 10 years since
Oh,
I've been playing the harmonica.
wow.
Mm.
Bro, that is a very long time. And I don't know what it is about that instrument, but for me, I know, like, I think of Omkulu, which is grandfathers. Like, I just get that vibe and frequency and the sound it actually makes. Yeah, it's a very, very special instrument to be able to play
Mm.
the way that you do.
See the way we connect with sound. Like I don't know how familiar you are with the like philosophers like Pythagoras, and even Albert
Mm,
Einstein even said everything is vibration. Music is vibration, it's
mm,
frequency. So when you receive or you hear something, it does something to the chemistry in your body, which releases certain chemicals. That's why it makes you feel good, and it's the vibrations and the tone. There's a lot of deep science to life and music and numbers that I haven't even scratched the surface with. I'm still, as well, like you said, I'm still a student of life, and I will forever be a student of life. I will never think I know it all. I will always try to humble myself and keep myself in a position where I'm always gonna learn. And if somebody proves me wrong on something, by all means, I'm gonna take it with an open heart and an open mind, and that's how we grow and evolve.
absolutely,
Mm.
brother. And I just love that correlation you made with like numerology, with numbers, because yeah, like it's all connected. Like we aren't just these people or things living. We kind of in these bodies, but having an experience with and interacting with nature. So
Mm.
it's like there's so much more deeper stuff going on in life that we're not even aware of. But
Of
yeah,
course,
absolutely,
of
man,
course.
absolutely.
This is what's inspired me on this journey with the podcast and self inquiry, and because we know what we see, but what about the things that we don't see? Like, for example, science. Science can explain a lot of things, but then as soon as you talk about intuition to science, they're like, you can't really measure what intuition is. You don't even know where
Exactly.
where where it's situated in your body, where it comes from. What is intuition? Ask a scientist that, they won't be able to tell you. But I can tell you now, if you with your intuition, you could have a feeling that something is good here. So
Exactly,
I'm
bro.
really intrigued about the unseen things in life that we experience, like these chemicals in our body that make you feel good, or I'm just I'm curious. It's always good to be curious.
Absolutely,
And
brother. No, I'm
yeah,
not gonna add to that because I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, we just gotta stay inquisitive. We gotta stay hungry and just keep learning every day, bro. Like, I still, I don't know, man. I get paranoid every time I create because it's like bro, I know that there's so much that I don't know. And that kind of like scares me, but it's exciting
Mm,
when you know
mm.
that you don't know. It's such a nice like place to be. And yeah, I just want to keep growing and learning.
Yeah, of course, of course. You know, what books are you reading right now, MX?
Ooh, okay, okay, that's a great one. You know what's actually crazy, bro? I went back to the classic, The Alchemist. I've been on that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely love that book because
yeah.
I've gotten back. Okay, I'll name a few other books, but I something was just drawing me into this like tap into that book. You need that book right now, and I'm quite deep into it now, and I'm being
Okay.
reminded of why I'm reading it.
So what's it about? You know, I've actually got that book. This is like the third time I've heard about it now. You know, I've got lots of books, and the Alchemist always keeps on popping up. So I guess it's a sign. I'm gonna take this as a sign, and I'm gonna read the
Yes.
Alchemist.
Yes, no,
Mm,
absolutely. And okay, well, I'll try to give you a synopsis without butchering it. But
mm,
it's like a surreal fantasy self-discovery book. I would classify it. That could be wrong, but it's very it flirts with a lot of ideas of like mythological and like what's real. So it has this like very surreal feel, and it's very poetically written, meaning that the characters in there, it's well written, man. There's a hype for it, and I'm saying the hype is there for a reason. But that's one of the books I'm reading. I'm also reading your Five Next Moves. So I like to read like either on Audible, but then I've also got physical books.
mm-hmm.
So the one is a business book called Your Five Next Moves by, okay, yeah, by, geez, what's his name? It's actually slipping me right now, but he's got a popular podcast on YouTube. And then I just got back my Russ book, It's All in Your Head. The musician Russ wrote a book called It's All in Your Head, which is also a very great book, just on self-discovery, personal development,
Mm.
and, just like navigating this life thing. Yeah, man, I enjoy reading. Those are just some of the books that I'm currently on, and I am doing them concurrently. So like I
Okay.
have a few days for one and then move on to the other. Just bounce
Yeah,
around.
yeah. These books sounds like they inspire your imagination. You know what I'd like a message which I'd like to get to the youth that are growing, that are coming up this day and age is the importance of your imagination. You know,
Mm,
uh, I don't know, like where I live right now in the UK, the education system kind of stifles
mm,
young children's imaginations. You know, it's like they're
mm,
just teaching them just to be workaholics and basically just giving service through work, and you have to work for a living. And then it stops as soon as somebody thinks so far fetched using their imagination. Somebody's like, "Oh, that's a bit stupid. Wow, why are you thinking so crazy like that? You'll
mm,
never be able to do that." But
mm.
really and truly, your imagination is what takes you so many places.
Exactly, bro.
Imagination, creativity.
Imagination is like the portal to the unseen and unknown.
Yeah.
Imagination is so important, and I absolutely agree with you, man. Like, there's so many other factors that, like, geez, bro, we're in this like weird attention economy where everything is online and you're programmed and do this and
Mm,
don't do that. That like actually when you get a good book, like it could literally take you out of everything and actually bring you into self and tap into these unseen and unheard experiences. It's I really wish that I took and read it. Well, I had taken reading a bit more seriously growing up. I read
mm.
just enough, but I now I'm in love with it. I've got like a little library going on next door.
Nice. It's never too late to start reading. Everything happens in the right time.
Absolutely,
Everything
bro.
happens in the right
Yeah,
time.
I see a little library over there. On Is that a little
Yeah,
library you got going
I
on?
have got my books. I've got a fair few books. My books are my favorite asset in my life. To be quite honest, my books,
Mm,
my books.
which ones are
I've
you
got so
currently
many good
into?
books. One book that comes to mind, which I really enjoyed reading, Angels and Demons.
Oh,
The guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code.
the code,
So it's something
yes.
Brown, Dan Brown, or something like that. I think his name is. So
Yes.
that book it was about the Illuminati and stuff like that. But that was a really fascinating book. It was a really big book, and funny enough, I read that book from start to end, and I couldn't put that book down. And that is the first book I read, which the ending actually it filled me with so much joy. I even burst out laughing at the end. I was like, this is perfect. So
Wow.
yeah, another book that I've really enjoyed was In the Meantime. It's a
Mm.
book about love and how to find the love you deserve, and finding the love for yourself.
Mm.
All about self discovery. See, all these books that we read, it kind of brings out, it teaches you something about yourself. We can always relate to the stuff that we read. And there's one book that I took a snapshot that you were reading. It was about Stoic philosophy. I'm
Oh,
really,
that's
really intrigued. But I love philosophy. The first book I ever read was Marcus Aurelius. That was my Bible.
yes.
Marcus Aurelius
That's
Meditations.
yeah.
Mm.
The version I got is just a revised version of that, but it's basically being stoic. Yeah, man. Those great men of history. Analyzing life, being in control of your emotions,
Oh yes.
just having like being in the present. And I don't know, man. I feel like stoic, controversial opinion. Anyone can be stoic, but it just
Yeah.
takes you to such a time of history that speaks to now and what we kind of need as men in this world. I really enjoy it. I'm a big Ryan Holiday
Yeah.
fan.
The obstacle is the way.
The obstacles away, absolutely amazing. Obviously, the Godfather, Robert Greene,
Mm.
Laws of Human Nature, Art of Seduction, everything, man, incredible.
Have you heard of Miyamoto Musashi, the
Okay, that sounds
Dekodo?
interesting.
Oh, he's a Japanese samurai, and he was a sort a warrior basically with swords, and he
Yes.
came up with this thing where he uses two swords, and he was out on a quest to conquer
Oh
and
wow.
just kill as many people. But he was so well respected in his field, in his art. But his
Mm.
philosophy to life, and like, it's not just on the field, but also just in general. Yeah, so I want to do book reviews
I
as
need that,
like
man. I need that. That sounds like a good. That sounds like a
it,
goodie, bro.
oh, that book is so I listened to the audio book, and the audio
Mm.
book, because I think it's called the Decodo by Miyamoto Musashi. The
Mm.
Decodo, I think it is. And it's basically a very short book that he wrote, and he was basically writing that book to his students, in trying to give them guidance on how to live, how to live a good life, and how to have good morals on the battlefield and off the battlefield. So the audio book has like, it gets depicted. So it's like a conversation with, like, say, six different types of people: a religious person,
Oh
um,
wow.
like a lawyer, a doctor, from different walks of life, and they give their opinions based on the quotes of his book.
Oh wow.
And about the meaning of life. So it's all about the search of the meaning of life. And
Mm.
yeah, it's such a deep book. And I will send it to you. I really want to be doing like book reviews as like special editions on the podcast, because
Man,
there's a
I'm
lot that
down.
we can learn
I'm
from
down for
books.
that. I'm down for that
Mm,
because that's going to I've got like a few friends as well who we
mm,
do, it's not even like a monthly book review type thing, but we kind of hold each other accountable of trying to at least read 10 to 15 minutes of any book. Just get away from your damn phone, pick up something
mm.
that's written, and there's more than enough material out there. Just read a page then, if you can't do 10, 15 minutes. Because yeah, man, this time that we're living in with the way we are getting programmed, yo, it's actually really,
Scary.
really crazy. And it's almost like you have to brute program yourself into doing, like, maybe read one page then of something away from your phone, or
Mm,
just get that literature, get that feeling, read something outside your norm, man. It's going to do a lot. And we asked each other, like, hey, what did you learn? How far are you in that book? And then we kind of do what we're doing now. It's dope, man. So I would love to be a part of that. If you
Yeah,
are
for
going to
sure.
do that, I'll come back.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like the Alchemist might be one that might be a good one to start with one day, eh?
I'll tell you this, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you. And it is, there's a lot of hype around it. It's very hype beasty. I know that sometimes we want to find things that are niche, like things that aren't maybe popular, but it's popular for a reason. And it's very, it's a great read. It's a great read. Oh, the last book that I actually am getting back into is one called The Artist's Way by Julia. Yeah, it's called The Artist's Way. The
Okay.
Artist's Way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great book about like harnessing the inner creative artist within you, just being gentle with yourself, kind with yourself. It's almost like it's filled with a lot of affirmations. It looks at some of the greatest quotes from all like people from different walks of life, and it just gives
Mm.
you little tasks and habits for you to cultivate to become a better artist. Especially if you're going through like a block or you feeling overwhelmed. It's a great read. It's called The Artist's Way
Mm.
by Julia Cameron.
Okay, I've heard the name of that author before. You know, an interesting question that's just come to my mind. What has led you to all this self-inquiry? Because you know, something tells me that you've not had the best. You've had hard times as well. For you to have that sort of head on your shoulders where you're self-inquiring, you know, inquiring about the self and trying to improve yourself. So, you know, I don't know a lot about the history of your life, MX, and you know,
Yeah,
I don't think I've shared much about my history as well because I know where we come from. It's, you know,
yeah,
we've had our fair share of struggles, you know. So,
yeah.
what's led you to this?
Bro, I'll be honest, man. I won't sit over here and act like I've had it so tough. It was so hard because
Mm. Yeah.
when you see like or experience poverty on a deeper level, like you witness that, it humbles you so much because you're like, why am I complaining? Why is my life that bad? You know, like nowadays people be like, oh, I'm so depressed or it's like, bro, you don't know depression or being anxious.
Yeah. Mm.
There's real shit going on out there. So I've, through extension, I grew up moving around a lot, which is why I'm called MXSouthAfrica, because I literally went to 9 different schools. We've traveled all
Oh.
over the country with my family.
Mm-hmm.
um you know, like I'm just telling you about how I grew up. But then home was always in KZN, KwaZulu Natal. That's where like my roots are. So we traveled throughout the country. I'm just trying to say from a very young age, I've had this duality that was attached to me, like going to these white schools and then you go back to the hood or you go back to the farms and you're like, why is that? That's not okay. Okay, why is this? Why is that? And then I've just kind of always had that perspective of like, oh shit, bro, I've seen the good, so quote unquote, but I've also seen
Mm-hmm.
like the really bad, like people who don't have anything trying to, you know, like become better people. And you learn so much. It's like, no, bro, everyone is a normal person. You don't determine the family you're born into, but you ultimately decide how you want to go on with your life, like what you're trying to achieve. Everyone's got dreams, everyone's got aspirations. But yeah, I'm saying all that. I feel like I'm going into a little rant, but
Let's
um,
go. Let's go. I'm all for it, man. I'm here for it.
yeah. So it's like it's that duality, I would say, that gives me that perspective. And having a strong father and mother. My father was he showed me how to be a man. You know, like to be
Mm.
respectful, to love. I had good example in front of me my whole life, so I just try to emulate that, and I navigate it in the best way that I can. Um, yeah, man. But all that glitters is not gold. No one is perfect. We can only do our best. But also, that being said, having the life that I have is I became so grateful for what I had rather than trying to be bratty or complain about what I have because of that history of moving around a lot, extended family members, just the juxtaposition of culture, etc. You get to learn so much about self. And that's kind of always forced me to be like, okay, well, I'm going to be the one who does music then in his own way. And it doesn't have to make sense. And I will bring who I am into this and try and make everyone involved and happy and be as honest as I can.
Mm. Oh, so if you can recall back, what do you reckon was the most hardest part of your life growing up? Well, even not the
Well,
hardest, I'd say the most challenging, because everybody's perception of hard is different, right? So,
yeah.
what's been the most challenging for you?
Okay. Well, for me, it's identity, self
Mm.
identity of like who I am as a man. Because, okay, this might be TMI, but we're getting into the crux of it, seeing how I fit within this world. Because almost as a man, you are to emulate the father and carry on the family name. But then when there's cultural aspects to that that make it a bit more challenging, for lack of a better word, and I think maybe your cultural side will get to what I'm alluding to, um, with our cultures and how you basically balance. You see, I want to say it in Zulu because it will make so much more sense in Zulu, but I'm trying to
Kuluma
find.
Jig!
Ngikhulume. And usiqhenya kanjani as insizwa mekuhlangene nezinto isibongo sakho ukuthi umeleni, what do you represent and who you are. I'm just trying to find the right words for English, but that's been my most complicated or challenging aspect of my life, navigating as a man in the cultural aspect in this new way of living where you're trying to be accepted, you're trying to be enough, have an honest living, but then you still tapped into your culture and
Mm.
tradition, and furthermore than that, chasing your own destiny and trying to leave a legacy for the next generation. Hope that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense. So instead of just living the life based on the conditioning that's been put onto you from your ancestors, you're, you're considering that, but you're also trying to find your own identity within all that's been put onto you. Am I right in
Exactly.
saying that?
Exactly, my brother. That's
Mm.
why I said it's identity, just the identity politics, because it's not easy to navigate when you like no one has got the guide to get to where we need to get. Everyone is going to carve their own path, but then it really, for me personally as an individual, it heightens how complicated it is when you are trying to be or become what you need to become, but then you are still not trying to romanticize the past or get lost in it. But
Mhm.
I'm from South Africa, I'm from KwaZulu. You can't lose that. That is forever a part of who you are. So it's
Mm.
not turning back on tradition and culture, but rather using it and
As a
accepting who
moral
you are.
compass.
Yes, absolutely.
Using it as a moral compass to kind of give you a background. And it's very, very good to know your history, his story, but
Mm.
at the same time, you need to find your story, like intimacy with the world. Into me, I see, you know?
Mm.
Mm. So, I read this book called The Storyteller's Secret. And basically, this book it talked about how cultures pass on um how cultures pass on their legacy through the art of storytelling. I just remember me being in the village and going back to in Zimbabwe, living in the village and in the farm, and in the kitchen we've got no TVs or anything, and you have to respect your elders, and your elders are the ones who are sitting around the fire at night time. We're eating food, and they're telling us stories, and we listen. We're so attentive to their stories. And but what I'm seeing now is a lot of children are lost because their parents are being lazy to pass down their traditions of where they came from. Now these kids are growing up without knowing where they come from. And if they don't know where they come from, if they don't have a moral compass, then they get involved with the streets and they get motivated by their friends. And they have bad role models because they just money, and how everything is getting glorified, like money, drugs, and nice cars, and that's not what it's about. If you really know your roots, you'll have a bit of a foundation to be able to create a life that you desire rather than what everybody else is telling you should do. um
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely,
I
bro.
like going back into history, and I'm hoping that this platform that I've created can help give the children are our future. I'm so inspired to work to inspire kids to have a good moral compass, because our future is dependent on our kids. And if us as parents, if we don't invest in children, what's the future of the world going to be like?
Yo, hey,
Hmm.
yo. No, absolutely. Bro, your screen, I'm not sure if it's showing on your side, but it looks like it's flashing over here.
Yeah, I've got a light over here. Let me just turn my big light on, and then let's get
Yeah.
some light in the
Nah,
building.
sweet. Oh, that's yeah.
I
That's
didn't realize that it was gonna get dark too soon, and
man, I got you, bro. I got you. No, bro. Yeah, dude. Just back on the history and narrative. And bro, like as I'm saying, man, like I'm not when I refer to like maybe my toughest thing, saying that could have been better or they didn't. No, 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 no. I'm completely proud of my family, the morals, how you know what I mean. Like I'm
mm,
super, super grateful, and I think that's why I'm as solid in what I do because of that
resilience.
foundation. Yeah, I'm because of that. I still, I am umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. So I'll never take
Mm,
that away. And like I always saying, as Kenya, where I'm from, I love what. Obviously, you can always keep going further and further back. And as you said, you need to kind of create moving forward. You can't be caught up in I don't know, but I was just referring to it with specific regards to like my biggest challenge. And there's people who go through way worse. You know what I
mm.
mean? Like way, way, way worse, man. The world is not a great place at all.
Yeah, going through hard times. Sometimes these hard times, we don't realize that we were in those hard times until later on when we look back and then reflect. But then the way we hold each other together, it brings people closer. Family connection, like Abantu, where we're from,
Exactly.
it's togetherness.
Mm,
Abantu, with togetherness. Whether
mm,
you're struggling or not. I've lived poverty where we've had no food for days there in Zimbabwe, and I didn't even realize that we were struggling until later on. And then I reflected back and see a picture of myself. I'm like, wow, I'm like 6 stone, and my teeth look bigger than my head. I'm look like a skeleton and stuff like that. But you don't
mm,
really realize it in those situations. But it's really humbling, and it's character building. That's why we don't complain. And when people do complain, oh, I'm depressed, I can't get a cigarette and stuff, it's selfishness and stuff. But just the history
exactly.
of Abantu, I remember. uh, Maybe you can interpret this a bit better than I can, but there's something circulating online
Yeah.
about the Bantu tribe, Abantu.
Mm,
So there was a scenario where a guy from the Western society went to a village and seen went to visit a tribe of Abantu, and he asked these children,
mm,
whoever can race and touch that tree first will get this plate of like sweets or something. So you know what all these kids did, and these kids were like so small.
mm,
They held hands together, and
mm.
they never raced. They walked together to the
Mm.
tree, and they all touched the tree together.
Oh
And
wow.
then the guy says, "Why have you done that?" And all the kids said, like, if why should I be able to get something when my brother and sister here can't get it? So the whole point of the tribe is Abantu is togetherness. We
Mm.
do everything together. We share together. So let's hold hands together. And so that's I don't know if you can if that's that like kind of explains the history of like the tribe of where we come from. You know, our background, our history and culture.
No, absolutely, brother. Like,
Abantu.
um, just even me growing up, whether it's my mother's side or my father's side, will have ceremonies or events, and everyone literally chips in. Everyone holds each other's hands. We do everything in unison and in unity, and this is like things that are just a part of us. We, yeah, it's wild now, like that's really, really dope and beautiful. But then it's like with Western influence, you see how it actually deteriorates our culture and how it affects some of our people. But the greater majority of people, outside of the cities, this is how they still live. We all
Still love you.
in this together. We all understand. We all in unity, and we all gonna, you know what I mean? Like it's all under the love frequency, so to speak.
Love and compassion.
Absolutely. We
Love
we
and
always laugh
compassion.
and say like impilo makhaya ingcono nasedrobheni, which means it's like the life outside of the city life. It's way more better when you're at home. The water is more clearer, the
Pure.
air is cleaner. It's very community heavy, and everyone is together. There's joy, there's happiness. You know what I mean? Like, so whenever it's like reverse engineered, and it's like when you come from the city, it's like, hey, there's the city people. There's a lot of that, but it's not in a derogatory way. It's just like, hey, you back.
It's like laughing at them saying, "Yo, you guys are lost. Like where you
Exactly.
come from, you're lost. You're disconnected."
Mm,
That's what I
exactly.
get from the big city life is disconnect from who we truly are, from the love for ourselves and the love for people. When you move to
Mm,
the city life, it's all about profit and talk about slave labor. There was, I
hey,
think, probably, yeah, slave there. It sounds like I'm going into politics and stuff, but I don't like politics. That's not my thing. But it's modern day slavery. The way they make us work for our money because the wages that they're paying us is by the
mm,
end of the month after we've paid our bills and then we buy our shopping, then we're left with nothing and we've got to start again for the next month. And you know what I mean? So
absolutely, brother.
this is where the
Absolutely.
entrepreneurship stuff comes in because it's like you have to be doing a number of things to be able to have that freedom. It's unfortunate that we need to have finances to have that freedom of expression because you as an individual, you're capable of so much, but there's what's limiting you from achieving what you want to achieve or doing what you want to do. Again, finances, things that limit
Absolutely.
you from expressing who you truly are. If you've got such a giving nature, then you don't need money to give all the time. Like you're giving so much just with the music that you're making and the vibrations that you're giving out. So yeah, but this is the day and age that we live in, man.
Man, yeah, I'm also not, yo, bro. I got so many lyrics about that. Like, okay, okay, I'll probably, nah, man, you'll edit it
Let's
out.
let's
But
let's spit some.
politics, no, 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 no. I'm just like, I'll speak them so it's not as aggressive.
Okay,
Because I also do know
okay.
I have quite a aggressive demeanor, and I'm usually like, no,
Mm.
it's usually I'm passionate about something or frustrated. But yeah, politics are nothing but a bunch of bloodsuckers, bro. You know what I mean? Literally, the word politics. You know what I mean? Poly is multiple. Ticks, we know what ticks are. So it's like I'm not political. I don't pride myself on that. I understand that yeah, man, with elections coming up and all that stuff, man, it's just clown world. But I'm not ignorant at the same time. You know what I mean? You still kind of need to operate within this parameter or this reality of having some sort of structure. We had some
Mm.
crazy issue go down in my city about 2 years ago. Like it was pretty bad in terms of just like looting, and it felt very dystopian, just so to speak. It
Mm.
was like almost the end of the world type of thing, because you know there's racial tensions and all that stuff. But I say all that to say that, man, politics corrupts, man. Like I don't care if you're black, white, green, blue, orange. People are, like the majority of people are good people, bro. So you just treat people good, and like, but that's not how it works. It's like the corrupts everything, and it just makes people not that great to each other.
Yeah,
We
of
ain't got the
course.
we ain't got the answers, bro. We ain't got the
We
answers.
have.
What I'm trying to
I
say.
need to get this one book which you've just reminded me. I don't know if you've ever heard of George Orwell.
Hmm. That sounds very interesting.
Let me just dig it out because I need to get this one out.
Please.
Went
Did you find
straight
it?
to it. You know, I've got a sixth sense for where all my books are.
Oh, wow.
So George Orwell, you won't be able to read this because it's
Please
backwards,
tell.
but it's called Why I Write.
Oh,
It's a very short penguin book. George Orwell is a literature guy, and he wrote this book called 1984, and it's like he predicted the future way
oh,
before
wow.
everything happened. And he's like all this thing about Big Brother watching, and you know how there's cameras watching your every single move, and how artificial intelligence has just developed. So the the actual underneath the title on this book, it says political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable,
Oh,
and
wow.
to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind.
Oh, wow. Bro.
Mm.
Whoa. What did you say the author's name is? I'm writing that
The
down.
book is called Why I Write by George Orwell.
George Orwell. I got that down. I just made a note of that. Definitely will. What year was that published? Out of interest, like,
This one, I think this one. I'm gonna have a guess here, but it was before the 1980s.
oh, dude, that's very
Hmm.
interesting. The as soon as you said the title, I don't know if you saw, but I was like, wow, because it reminded me of
There's a
Steve Biko's book, I Write What I Like. So when I
I've
heard
got
that,
that book as well
oh wow,
from Joburg, isn't it?
oh wow, that's wow. Okay. Damn, bro, I want to go quickly run, but and show you a book that you probably, I don't know if
Go
you
get
had.
it, go
Let
get
me get
it,
it.
man.
Let me
I'm
get it quickly.
waiting.
So we were speaking about that one is Why I Write by George Orwell, right? Odell Orwell.
Yes.
About
Orwell, yeah.
Steve Biko. I write what I
Mm.
like, and then I remember
I
this
write what I
guy,
like.
Albert Lutsuli, Let My People Go. Don't know if you know that one.
No, I don't, you know.
Yeah, this was a band. Yeah, it's a noble. It's yeah, Albert
Band,
Lutsulu.
did you say?
Yeah, a band, South African classic.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Let My People Go. Check it out.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna
It's
write this one down.
yeah, because
Let
he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. So it's the autobiography of him, Albert Lutsulu.
Albert
Lutsulu.
Little.
Yeah, and it kind of speaks on what you were mentioning, just being one. Yeah, there's a lot, but check it out. I think you'll like it.
Mm.
You'll
I
absolutely
will
like it.
check it out. I will check it out. Yeah, I'm still yet to read that other one from the one from Joburg. I've had it on my bookshelf for quite a while. So, to be quite honest, last night I just had a bit of a revelation. I'm seeing all these. I've got all these books. I buy books. I've got audio books, and there's some books that I bought long time ago. I've not even opened them, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick up my book. So this is a book that I'm reading right now. It's about shamanism.
Ooh, shamanism.
So awaken and develop the shamanic force within.
Shamanism.
Yeah. So yeah, this book you learn how to build an altar and create a sacred space,
Oh
conduct
wow.
ceremonies and create a daily ritual,
Mm.
connect with spirit helpers including power animals and guides, undergo transformative journeys for healing and development,
Ooh.
connect with ancestors and descendants, use dance as a tool for awakening and freedom.
Oh wow. That yeah,
Mm.
that sounds very
It's
interesting.
very powerful, and a lot of traditions and in South Africa, in Africa, we like to dance. We've got our African dance. In Botswana, you've got the traditional dance, and everybody's got their own practices. So I've been on a journey of self discovery because I'd lost myself. MX, I lost
Mm,
myself, and I was drinking lots of alcohol and
mm,
just self sabotaging my body, and I wasn't being able to speak my truth, and just out of fear of of hurting somebody's feelings, but instead I was projecting everything inwards. So I was
mm,
carrying so much, so the drinking and the smoking was just numbing the pain. But
mm,
since discovering this, deep transcendental meditation,
Ooh.
going deep within the core of myself to bring out what I've got suppressed, has just led me on a journey of complete self-discovery, and it's given me deeper and deeper meaning to an understanding of my life and who I am and where I want to go. Like you said, it's identity. We need to find out who we are and what is your goal. Where are you going in life? What's the outcome? But I know it's not always about the goal. It's good to have a goal, but it's the journey that that matters the most, because when we get to our goal, we're still gonna be in the now. The now is all we have.
Power of now. I had to bring that one.
The practicing the power. Eckhart Tolle. That's another book that my little brother bought for me for my birthday, and I still haven't read it.
Read it, brother. Read it, bro.
Yeah?
It will bring you, but you already tapped into to that frequency. But yeah, man, you and then the meditation one. Imagine those are all the books of everything you said. This one is called Creative Meditation and Multidimensional Consciousness. This one is a bit more harder to read, but it's also powerful. Going back to what you're saying.
I have been exploring different levels of consciousness because, through the science, religion, and the mysticism of the world, has led me to explore life, be inquisitive and inquire, like, what's this thing about? Like, there's the guy called Aldous Huxley or something like that.
Okay.
I forgot his name.
Okay, thank God you said that. I thought you were going to say someone else.
No, not Hitler.
No. I'm like, I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah,
what's he about? Yeah.
Let me just grab the book quickly. Huxley. Here we go. So, Huxley. So, it's called The Doors of Perception. So, exploring different levels of consciousness, different realities, because we have got receptors in our brain to actually experience different dimensions of different realms, different dimensions of consciousness, which we can tap in and learn more about ourselves. Because right now we're just on the single plane of reality where people think, this is real, matter is matter, but really everything is vibration. If you listen to Albert Einstein, so yeah, the doors of perception.
That is
Aldous Huxley. Concise, evocative,
German,
wise, and above all, humane. The Doors of Perception is a masterpiece. One spring morning in 1953, Aldous Huxley took 0.4 of a gram of mescaline, sat down, and waited to see what would happen. When he opened his eyes, everything from the flowers in a vase to the creases in his trousers was transformed. He describes his experience with breathtaking immediacy. In The Doors of Perception, in its sequel, Heaven and Hell, he goes on to explore the history and nature of mysticism, still bristling with a sense of excitement and discovery. These illuminating and influential writings remain the most fascinating accounts of the visionary experience ever written. So he was a scientist, and he was exploring plant medicines that alter his perception to life.
Oh wow!
And he just goes in depth. And I tell you what, there's a whole mystery out there that people are so unaware of.
No, man, that sounds, that sounds, I'd love to hear. Me, I'm too scared to especially with stuff that's related to herbs and plants. You actually need someone who's cultured in that,
facilitator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
but you see, you've just, sorry, carry on.
No, I just wanted to say, remember when there was the thing a few years ago?
Which thing? COVID.
Yeah. Come on, man. Why are you saying it? But remember when there was that, bro? Like, and I'm sure in Zimbabwe it was there, but not too far from Emakaya, where I'm from. There were specific herbs. You steam yourself with it. plant, bro, like, and you do it, and it will take whatever symptoms from that thing. And I took
Yeah.
that, and I was absolutely hundreds. But I'm just saying that's the power of actual herbs and plants and being in tune with nature, because nature provides. There's more than enough. Actually, that's what my real name means, umvelo or imvelo. It's
Mm.
environment or mother nature or the beauty of mother nature. So I'm not saying I
Mm.
know, but it's like, damn, yeah, my parents were thinking of stuff when they came up with my name, because like the older I grow, the more I realize that mother nature is the ultimate architect of of us living. You know what I mean? Like, we need nature more than nature needs us as humans.
Yeah, and the way the society is kind of pulling people away from nature so that they can. It's just a shame. I don't want to go too more into politics, but yeah, if
Yeah,
you connect with nature and just step out of the conformity of life, and it's just, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You can think for yourself, and
absolutely.
you can be your own guide instead of like looking for validation from other people, like, "Hey, do you think what I'm doing is right?" No.
Mm.
Sometimes if you just keep quiet and silence yourself in meditation, you know all the answers are within. This is the power of nature. I think people are losing the fact that they've lost the idea that they don't know how powerful the mind is. The mind is a powerful tool, and the way artificial intelligence is coming on is just making people more lazy because they're not using their mind, and they're not training and stuff. And yeah, so
Bro,
life is a journey, man, and I'm so grateful to be alive, and life is such a blessing, you know.
so man, I just wanted to, like, add on to that. It's like, it's crazy, bro. Like, we came up with like, yeah, Terminator and iRobot. Like, they showed us this, that it's coming. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
we are still like obsessed. Did you see the new robots? Did you the AI? And it's like, bro, like, we
I've seen
know it's been coming, but why aren't we in tune with nature? Like, why aren't we
it.
discovering the great mysteries she has to offer? So it's very interesting, bro. It's very interesting, and I think
Mm.
conversations like this help us talk us or remind us to go down the path less traveled, get immersed into this world that's unknown, like tap in more with people on your frequency and vibe.
You mentioned something which I wanted to touch on before we start going off on a little bit, and you said that you fear tapping into these sort of, you know, mysteries of what plants have to offer. And what you've just said, that having fear, like, I think fear is a thing that stops you from it. It's a limiting belief, having a fear like that, where, oh, I'm scared to do this, or I'm scared to do that. And if people can overcome their fears and just step into the unknown, and this is how we grow, MX. We have to throw yourself out of your comfort zone to grow. But it depending on where you want to throw yourself, though. I think for my type of
Yeah,
character, I think I'm just a risk taker. I
yeah,
I don't I like, yeah, what's this? Let me just try. Let's see what happens. Like,
yeah.
man, I've been on a journey myself, MX. Like, people wouldn't realize as well
Mm,
that I've been down and out. I've used heroin,
mm.
bro,
Oh shit, bro.
and
Damn.
that's how that was my lowest points of my life. But I'm so glad that I pulled myself out of it.
No,
Being in
man.
prison, going to jail for me was,
Mm,
it was a blessing. People think, you've
mm,
been to jail before, but you know what?
mm.
Jail was a blessing. You know why? Because I was given the opportunity to sit with myself.
Bro, and
You know,
I'm not gonna let you just slide past that, bro. Like, congrats for real, bro. You know what I mean? Overcoming that drug specifically, and just being able to navigate, like, bro, big props to you and big respect, bro, because you know that a lot of people either get caught up in that cycle or worse. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really proud of you. I know you got a brother in me, and you can be
yeah,
really, really
man.
proud, bro. As I said, bro, I'm inspired by you. So, like, tap yourself on the back, like, hey, bro, you here, and we're only going further forward in positivity. So I'm proud of you, bro.
Always, always. I know I've come out of it, but then again, I also have to question myself. Why? Because nothing is a coincidence in life. And I think to myself, like, why did I have to go through that? And how come I've managed to come out of it at the end? And I'm not just going to take credit and say I'm grateful for it, but I think there's a bigger reason. I try and look for the reasons and the meanings in every single thing. It's like a game of chess. Every single move has a meaning. No matter how big, no matter how small, there's always meaning behind it. And I feel like all what's happened in my life is so that I can understand and relate to people who are going through probably the same, so that I can help them navigate their way out to a better life. And oh man,
Absolutely, bro. What would you say? Like I know you big on chess and you also big on jiu-jitsu. Um, like what are the correlations? Like what do those mean to you? Like why specifically those? Because they're quite unique and they're very specific disciplines. Like why do you do those specifically?
at the beginning, I don't know why I started it, but I, I managed to find reason and meaning along the way. Um, doing jiu-jitsu and fighting gave me a balance, because on the other side, I was living a crazy life, abusing my body and all that stuff. And jiu-jitsu and fighting kind of helped me keep a balance, instead of like being a total fuck up and just abusing myself.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I found it hard to be 100% fully committed and disciplined, because I'm not disciplined, and I like to learn from disciplined and passionate people in their craft, because I'm still learning myself. And jujitsu, it's like it's physical, it's like a physical game, but then the connections and the bonds that you have with people that you play with, like that, with wrestling and stuff like you know I was fighting for the wrong reasons when I was fighting, but now I've got the love for it because of the sense of community that it's provided me. Like it's like I feel a sense of belonging in that community. As we live this life, you have to find your tribe, find your people,
Absolutely.
where you're gonna excel. So I find that jiu-jitsu is it keeps my body in shape. We are physical, mental, spiritual beings, and you got to work on all parts. You have to train your brain. Like, you train your brain with the freestyling words, your brain is working. You're less likely to get dementia when you get older, because you're training your brain. And you go to the gym, you need to train your body. And at the same time, with the spirituality side, you need to meditate and sit in stillness to be able to listen, to connect with yourself and find love for yourself. So for me, jujitsu and chess is like, it gives me purpose and gives me a sense of belonging to these communities that I'm associated with, and the support that I have, and the growth, the learning on the chessboard about decision making. And life is like a game of chess. And but anyway, people have got their own idea to what life is, but that's my own interpretation of life and jiu-jitsu, and it just gives me a good balance. It makes me feel good. It makes me
Absolutely.
feel good.
No, bro, I really, bro, I resonate with everything you just said, because like I've been taking the running serious for like the last year and a bit. So I'm seeing what you're saying, and like it gives you a sense of belonging to communities. You start adapting their rituals of like, you transform as a person. And yeah, man, like absolutely, bro, absolutely. And one thing that I found whenever I felt anxious or depressed, it's because I wasn't doing the right stuff, which goes back to discipline. Because discipline is saying, I'm making a commitment to this thing that I need to do, whether I feel like it or I don't. So yeah, like once you lose discipline, or you break that promise to yourself, you're so susceptible to these distractions that
Yeah.
affirm the negativity rather than
Yes.
when you're in motion. That's why I asked specifically. I'm like, why chess and jiu-jitsu? Because the one is very mental and the other is physical. And it's like, oh wow, this shows that you are disciplined in not just one realm, but we are what we do, and it will reflect in you. So I commend that. And obviously, bro, it's always a juggling act. No one has got it
It
figured out.
is.
It's a juggling act.
It's yeah. the law of polarity as well. You know, that you need the positive and the negative to find balance, because if there was no such thing like, I don't know how you lose your discipline, mate. Like for me, when I lose my discipline, I start eating shit food. I start drinking, and
Yes.
I'm taking in all negative stuff, which demotivates me. Then your body's a temple. If you have respect for your body, and a lot of MMA fighters, a lot of my teammates,
Mm.
they inspire me so much because of how disciplined they are, the way they look after their body,
Mm.
like in terms of what they put in their body,
Yes.
diet, because your body's a temple. As soon as you start drinking alcohol and you're doing it on a regular basis, and then you start attracting negativity, and you're coming out of alignment with yourself. That means that your life will not be fulfilled.
Mm.
Um,
No,
and
and
you
I've
just
been
get
doing
into
too
into
much
a
of
loop.
that. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
brother.
I was gonna talk to you about this, because the other night when I messaged you, and then you sent me a voice note back, and then the next day I was like, "You were out last night, weren't you? You were drinking." And you're like, "Damn, man!" Like, yes, I was.
You know what? I'm gonna take full accountability of that. It's so weird, man. Like I'm gymming, I'm doing all this stuff, and what I actually do, and this is what I do privately, is I will hold myself because you said that I'm what you call I'm quite self introspective of everything I do. So I know that I'm being a bad person by doing this. So I'll punish myself by running extra Ks that week. Not to say that it's good, but it's also to remind myself that I'm human. I think I picked that up on Atomic Habits, where it's
Mm,
like
mm,
you you're not saying it's okay to fuck up, bro, but you saying, okay, I can identify that I may not be perfect, but I have to make up for that. I don't know. It's a weird formula, and I know it's not right,
mm.
but it's almost like when I do stuff like that, it's like no, you need to make up for that, bro, to yourself, and then I put
Yeah.
myself under more strain. So instead of doing a 7K, it's like no, you're doing a 9K now because you
Mm.
remember what you did.
Yeah, I can relate to that. So this is where my balance was when I was doing chess and jiu-jitsu. Oh, I still do chess and jiu-jitsu. It's just the
Yeah.
thing is, I was drinking a lot more back then, and then trying to balance it out, with, because again, it's also that awareness. Like, what you shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
Now I've got to a stage now. I don't drink alcohol.
Mm,
I've stopped smoking weed. I have a love-hate relationship with the weed. I go on it and I come back, and I'm off it and stuff like that. But the more you go back to doing it, the more information feedback you'll give to yourself, and it'll strengthen your why you don't want to do that.
mm, yeah.
Um, at the same time, which I hope you never do, is to have a drink to feel inspired to write, because sometimes the devil can come in, can come across in in mysterious ways, and you think, you're getting inspired, you've had a few drinks, and all of a sudden you can flow on the mic, and you're feeling good, you're feeling easy, there's no nerves when you go on stage, and
Mm,
you're confident. But that's a false pretense,
mm, mm,
liquor in a bottle, confidence in a bottle. If you can, like, find that soul nourishment from being absolutely pure,
mm,
drinking water, and then if you go on stage and you're there, you'll be so alive, and you'll have that energy. Right, the alcohol makes you a bit sluggish, although it gives
yeah.
you confidence. It makes you sluggish, but it you learn this. You have to learn it for yourself. You have to realize it for yourself to be able to put it into play. Like, I can tell you and tell you my experience, but
Yes,
you
please.
have to experience it yourself.
Yeah.
For you,
Well,
I'm not saying that you shouldn't drink, but for me, me and alcohol, we just don't have a good relationship.
no, absolutely. I'm the same, but I'm yeah, bro. You're right. You're right because it's like you don't. You know what it is, man. And I don't like pointing fingers, but then I love what you said when you said that the devil comes in many forms, my brother. Like you think it's this, but it's the other, and you're right because it's like, the devil's not this like weird thing. No, it's like you got tempted, which means your willpower is not there yet. So this is good, bro. I need this because it's like, why fall off? Why make a mistake when you know it's a mistake? And it's almost like you have the devil and the angel. and you like talk yourself into things and out of things, sometimes I do let that other voice overpower the other, and that's not good, bro. That's not good, bro.
But this is why we have free will. You know, if you read the scriptures, Lucifer will be the devil, will be he's just the one who says, but why do I have to do what you want me to do? Why can't I just do what I want to do? You know, we all have that in us. We have the good and the bad. It's just how you balance the both, and the awareness. Sometimes you can be so unconscious to the things that you do which are negative until you bring awareness to it and then realize and take accountability for what you're doing. Then, you know, that's the road to change. But then you don't have to be hard. Again, you don't need to be hard on yourself, because it's, you know, nothing is a coincidence. And, you know, you may do something today. You might even go out and have a drink tonight, or I might even do so. But you never know. That might actually be a good thing, because we're going to be put in a place where maybe somebody needs your help. And then all of a sudden you're in the right place at the right time just because you decided to go out for a drink. So just go with the flow, ride the waves. I've got this saying where you need to learn how to surf and ride the waves, because, you know, tomorrow morning you don't know what mood you're going to wake up in, and the more you resist, the more it persists. Like if you wake up feeling in a shitty mood, like, oh, I don't like feeling like this, let me just try and like oppose it and just try to be happy. No, if you're feeling like shit, it's okay to feel like shit. Welcome it, question it, you know, question it, give it some love and accept it. And before you know it, you've released it.
Exactly.
You know, so
Bro, I think
so learn to surf.
no, bro, I'm gonna surf. But one thing that's actually like being on my mind, just speaking on that, like drinking and making it like more frequent, which is very off brand or off character for me, is I think it's coming from realizing the mortality of like you're saying, bro, it's very sobering, ironically, when you realize like, bro, it's like no one knows what tomorrow holds. So yes, you can do your best over and over, be disciplined, perform at the highest. But you know, like there's this weird, not there's this inner. I suppose what I've been lacking is on my meditations, because these are things you would actually pick up and then try move it off. So yeah, bro. This has been it's been a lot of like soul food, and actually, but sometimes you'll lie to yourself and be like, bro, I think I got this on lock. I got the routine. Look at me. And then you realize
No,
like, no, you don't.
it's just your mind's trying to self justify for the bad things that you know you shouldn't be doing it, but then you're like, you know what, I'm okay at doing this. Like it's okay. I can smoke weed. I can have a drink, man. I can handle this. I know it's been 2-3 times this week, but ultimately for alcohol, you know, that's why alcohol is legal. But they don't make other stuff which is actually beneficial for you legal.
Legal, yeah.
Why? Because they wanna keep you in that state of depression where you cannot actually come into your full power, because these people who are in power want to stay in power and they want to
Absolutely.
keep control of you. So the alcohol is another is the easiest way to kind of keep people dumbed down and depressed, and then they go to hospital, then you get given tablets and stuff like that. Because from my experience with alcohol, even if I just have people say, oh, it's okay to have 1 or 2 drinks in a week or something, but
It's
is it
not.
really?
No, it's
No,
really
it's
not,
not.
bro. It's really, really not.
Mm.
No,
There's just too much of a.
no, I was going to say, I'm actually thinking about it now, and it's like, fuck, they got us, bro. These bosses have got us. Like, with the beer or whiskey, like they have these different types of alcohol to appeal to different types of people, so to speak, or situations.
Mm,
Like they've even
mm,
marketed it in a way where you actually convince yourself, oh, a beer's fine, I'll have a draft, or I'll have a little pin, or I'll have a little, and it's like, wow. And this stuff literally destroys our body. Like, it's not good for your body, bro. Like, absolutely.
mm. Never mind that it's not good for your body. It disconnects you from from being in connection with your intuition and, you know, the divine source of knowledge that you possess within yourself. It disconnects that, because when you sit in meditation, I've had some amazing meditations where I'm stuck at some point in my life. I need questions. I need guidance, and I go deep in my meditation, and all of a sudden I'm getting these downloads like, oh shit, where did that come from? Like, oh, that's like an answer to my problem. It's mysterious, but that's the connection we lose when we're drinking alcohol and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's just my own experience. It's definitely different for everybody else. I'm just sharing. I can only speak from what experience I've had, which, if you can relate, you can relate. If you can learn, you learn.
No,
You,
bro,
you, you you do what.
this is why we here, bro. We with the tribe,
Mm,
we with the vibe, and like, bro, like just this is great. Like, bro, I almost feel like in this life thing that we are living in, especially in these times, you have to kind of, as I said, brute hack or program yourself through your life to have this routine where it's just overtly optimistic, positive. You're putting yourself in a place where you're setting yourself up to win, not just in every day or in life, but like every moment, every conversation.
every
It's the best
moment.
of it. It's
Mm,
just the best. And like I really appreciate this because it's like, yo, I've been taking notes. I wrote a whole lot of authors, and it's like I've got something to look forward to. And we're gonna build on these positive attributes, and because they usually give each other momentum. Even with I heard you mention the law of not polarity.
polarity.
Yeah, it was polarity from the Hermetic principles, right? Where it's almost like one builds on the other. So if you're gonna do bad habits, those will build too. So
Mm,
it's very yeah, man, it's
yeah.
captivating, and I hope
You
that
have to
we do
experience the negative to appreciate the positive. Vice versa. You appreciate the positive, and sometimes you have to dabble in the negative to find more reason to deepen your why you want to
yes,
stay up there, you know?
yes,
And
bro.
it's okay to go back.
I wanted to share with you, and I'm not really. I'm so glad you caught me saying that I feared a certain aspect with the plants and the herbs, and this is the power of like actually watching your language. And this is speaking of much of a good interview you are, because I'm realizing, wow, I uncovered that I actually said I feared that out aloud because I did have an experience in my 20s, so it's almost like supernatural, so to speak. And it's not like I hid it away, but then it was so overwhelming, and it kind of like changed my perspective on just like, it's kind of like an esoteric type of experience, and it's like
Let's go into it. Eh, Come on,
we
let's
can
go.
we can
Unless you fear, like, you don't, unless it puts your career in like
no no no
jeopardy,
no
that
no
you
no
don't
no
share
no
what you can.
we good, bro. You've been open to me about everything, and I can't, but I'll say this, bro. Like, I uncovered a lot about self, and it wasn't, it's, geez, what is that word called? It's psychosis.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in that for like 2, 3 days, and I was just a good kid. You know what I mean? Like, just do my thing, nice to people. So when certain aspects of self are evoked, and then like forces greater than you are at play, things get really strange really fast. Especially, it's almost like a bad dream when you like, okay, stop, I want to wake up, and then you don't wake up. So you know what I'm saying? But then
Of course.
when you walk away from that, you kind of have an appreciation of life. But then that's what you're saying, bro. Don't be scared of that. You went through whatever you went through, so you should be able to go through whatever you need to. There's no need in suppressing, but rather going straight ahead, because it's almost like the boogeyman. You know what I mean? Like, ooh. But then once you
Mm.
know that, hey man, okay, you're there, you're in the dark, you're not gonna do nothing. There's a power in that as well. So I appreciate you saying that. Hey, bro, don't be afraid of stuff. Like, move, operate from love and take what you need to take on. Face
Mm.
forward with the open
You
heart.
see, what you've said, what all I can kind of, what's coming to my head when you say that is surrender, accept, and have faith. And I want to ask you, what led you to the psychosis? I want to just dig a bit deeper. What led you to this period of psychosis?
Yes.
Was this induced by something?
Yes, exactly, exactly. I wanted to mention there's two versions of there's two theories to it. There's the normal theory, which I was out with a bunch of mates who were performing because I was in a music group doing relatively well locally. And the theory is one of my drinks got spiked and it sent me
Mm.
down this. But then, like, when the deeper you go in the story, you're like, no, okay, this is not that. This is something deeper.
Else.
And
Mm.
then the deeper version is, let's just say, there's there's alchemy in the world, man. You know, there's good, there's evil, there's bad, there's good, there's heavy, there's light. Why it wasn't used, I don't know, but I've
Mm.
got like a theory, but it's not one that I'd even want to give attention to because, you know, I don't feed into that like frequency just as a person, you know. And some people even hate the way you smile. Some are like, bro, this guy is so goddamn, why are you so happy? I hate this person. So it's also like, you know, it could be a jealousy thing. It could be a number of different, a number of different situations.
So how did that experience shape you? Are you grateful for that
Yeah,
experience?
and I'll tell you this as my brother. Go listen to a track from 2015. It's called Umundu. It's from 2015.
Umuntu.
Umundu. Yeah,
Yours, yeah?
yeah. I think it will make like a
I
lot.
think I heard it the other day, you know.
I think but
Mm.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad. And you know what, bro? It just shows what you're saying, especially at our age, when you're like, okay, then why do I still keep doing this? Why can I keep expressing myself in this way and having these experiences? Okay, then this must be a bigger purpose than me. I'm gonna just keep being the best I can until my time is up, type of situation. But I think that it made me realize that we do have limited time, and we often think that, hey, bro, I'll do that next year, or I'm still gonna travel these places. And
Mm.
it's like, bro, you really don't know, bro. Like you don't know. Yeah, I need to get into this book, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which I also have, where you kind of like at ease with this is life and there is more to this and there's actual ways to prepare for that or being at ease with it.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, bro. Like I'll tell you this, bro, and especially like on the music and all that stuff. It's like I've accepted what I do, and it's like, well, it'll make sense one day if it will, but if it doesn't, it also doesn't. I'm at peace. There's no need for validation, especially with like the songs that I make. It's always like, yeah, it's great if I can go further and this can do that, but then you can't micromanage the universe with your
Yeah.
blessings. You just kind of have to be it the best way you can and put it out and just hope for the best.
Yeah. Hope for the best. As long as you're happy in yourself, you know, your soul is getting nourished
Exactly.
because you're creating. If you ask me, you know, God has given us free will. We are creators as well,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got the will to do good or bad, and it's our choice. So it's up to you how you want to live your life. Ne?
Nah. Yeah, nah.
Shapukojade.
Yeah, no, man. Bro, and this is one thing I've loved about my Zimbabwean brothers, bro, and sisters. Your guys' Zulu is better than some of these people's Zulu who lived in Durban their whole life. And, you know, this just speaks of like how, you know, our people migrated, you know what I mean? Like, and we can go further back in history and
Yeah.
time, but you
Mm.
know, through about Tanzania, it's like we all connected is what I'm trying to get to. And I think that's been the greatest disservice for our people to have borders and make us believe that we are different when we're all more alike, down to we even share the same culture and we practice the same traditions. But this is the type of history you only get orally.
Oh, MX.
My brother.
I'm so appreciative of you, guy. You know, I'm so happy. So
Nah, bro.
happy.
We and I'm here for the pod, bro. Like, I mean, this is not a hard setup. We can do this again. I'd love to maybe
Always.
introduce you to a few more people that I think you need to tap into, or they
Yeah,
like
yeah,
where your
please.
frequencies will be very aligned and they can bring some value. So I'll tap you on like I'll bring in some more people with information to share, and we
Yeah,
can have
I
meaningful
didn't even
conversations.
expect that, to be quite honest, and I'm really humbled that you've even considered that. It didn't even cross my mind. I've just been enjoying the moment
Nah, I got
with
you,
you.
brother. I got you,
Like,
brother.
oh,
I
so
got you.
inspiring. Like, oh, amazing. I love connecting with people, and doing this gives me that opportunity to connect on a deeper level, one-to-one basis, like what we're doing right now. And I'm hoping, like, I'm doing it and I'm connecting.
Exactly.
I've got a lot of good guests coming up, and
Mm,
every single guest that comes on the podcast, like every single person in the world has got a story to tell.
mm,
And this place, I'm open, like this platform, I'm open to inviting anybody if they've got something to share, whatever it is that's close to their hearts. And
mm,
like I said, we're here to inspire and be inspired. I feel I feel obligated to share the knowledge. I've had certain insights of my meaning of life
mhm,
is to love more, learn to let go, and to share knowledge. These are
mm,
my three key things in life. Love more, share knowledge, and learn to let go, because holding on to things, they say suffering is caused by clinging of the mind.
mm,
The more you try and hold on to something, you can't control it. You have to let go at some point. And we need to be able to free ourselves from the shackles of our minds. So
mm.
that's my meaning to life. And I'm here to share the love, share the knowledge. And yeah, I'm letting go of things that don't serve me, so that I can be a better person to show up for myself and to show up for people, loved ones, children, adults, our parents, grandmothers, grandfathers. I'm here, man. I'm here.
No, man,
We are here.
I'm loving the flow state
Mm,
that you're in because these are words from the heart, and I can't add
thank
on
you.
that, bro. That's exactly how it is, and I've made this platform grow from strength to more strength. Can we, like get more guests, more stories, just keep sharing the love and keep connecting and building this because I also learned so much about you and my appreciation has gone even deeper. So let's take this to the
Thank
next
you.
level. If people are listening,
Of
please share
course.
it and please support brother Julio. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, and same goes to you, MX. We're gonna obviously cut it off now and come to the end of it. Where can people find you, MX, so that they can come and see some of the amazing work that you do, and the music, the vibes? Where can we find you, MX?
Absolutely, man. People can check me out on all music streaming platforms if they would like to have a listen at MX South Africa, one word. I do stream on Twitch at MX South Africa, and they can also check out my YouTube. Got some exciting videos coming up. And yeah, I stream on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But beyond all of that, man, they can just shoot me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I'm always going to respond and tap in and tap into the higher vibes, man. Let's get it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We should definitely do something. You haven't seen me play guitar and sing. I'll send you a little something, and who knows what the future will bring
And the
in
harmonica,
terms of
bruh.
creation.
I'm
But
actually gonna bring you on my stream, bruh. That's what we need to do. We need to
yeah,
jam
I'm
out.
all for it.
We'll make
I'm all
we'll
for it.
check
I'm
our
all for it.
schedules and we'll make it happen, bruh. Let's create, bruh. Like,
Of
let's
course.
please, please, please. I think we can do something quite amazing.
Of course. Of course. Right. Everybody, we're gonna time out. MX, don't go. Let me just make sure this video is just stopped and everything is locked in, loaded, and all that jazz. So peace out, everybody. Till next time with the Search for Meaning podcasts.